Hi Libra, welcome to your deep love read for the end of June. I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. So we're going to do past, present, and future. And we'll pull some advice cards. Hope you guys are doing great today. Remember, these are general messages, guys. Please don't try to make them fit if they don't. Please, if it's not your message, definitely check your rising sign, your personality, moon sign, your emotions, Venus, even your Venus sign. That has to do with love. It has to do with self-esteem. Okay, so these are going to be for the past. Pulling all different decks. All different decks. Let's see what we got. These are all pre-shuffled, but I do a little last-minute shuffle on screen. All right, let's see what we got. King of Cups. Four of Cups. King of Pentacles, Five of Swords. Okay. All right, let's pull these guys over here. Okay. Okay, so we have in the past, we have King of Coins, Sword Energy. All right. All right, let's pull these and then let's get your advice and get right into this. Okay, Knight of Swords. This is the near future. The Hermit. King of Cups. High Priestess. Ooh, a lot of shh going on here. Having to do with this relationship. A lot of shh messages. Not necessarily bad. Just trying to keep life away. Trying to keep life away. Let me work on something here. Self-love, yeah. You know, what's so funny about that, getting that energy for me is, you know, I'm feeling a very, this is going to sound stupid because you guys are Libra and I'm doing your reading, but I've had such a Libra vibe, like all morning. That was kind of looking forward to getting to your messages. Self-love, I always get a Libra vibe from that. It's all about valuing yourself. Remembering to value yourself, and it's not all about Mars. Yes, see, we're all going to be feeling that energy. Mars is the fighter energy, and it doesn't necessarily mean aggressiveness, like you know, but feeling very passionate. Let's say very passionate about doing something to really make us feel a certain way. The reason I'm saying this, we have the solar eclipse happening. Let's see, what house is it going to be happening for you guys in? Let's see, Scorpio's the 9th. So I think you guys are 10th. It's going to be really very focused on your 10th house of career and work and your public reputation. I did more of that when I did the June astrology. You could check that out if you feel inclined to do that. But you're going to definitely be having this kind of definitive, like warrior type energy to get in touch with what makes you feel safe, because the solar eclipse is happening in Cancer, and Cancer is that 4th house of home, and it's about roots and family and safety and love and all of that, and metaphorically, like what makes you feel at home, what makes you feel grounded and rooted and all of that. And you're really going to be very super focused on that right now. I do feel like that in general. This is not a career read. I'm going to be doing a deep career read next week, but I am feeling that you're going to be very front and center with you know, what makes you feel safe in relationship. You're really going to be looking at that. Only time will tell. All right. Well, you know, that doesn't really help, but hey, we'll take it anyway. Okay. And we'll pull Smile and Time Wellness, and then we'll get into reading all of these. Yeah. I mean, it looks like a bit of an emotional couple of weeks, but okay. That's all right. Let's see what we have here. Cupid's arrow, sunglasses, focusing out, separation. Don't get too worried about that. Don't get too worried about that. But let's talk about the self-love first before we get into anything, because the self-love, it's really about, you know, take time out to get to know yourself and what works for you in this particular cycle of your life, because you are in a brand spanking new cycle of your life right now. And realizing that some of the biggest obstacles to self-love are self-criticism, right? And perfectionism, which leads to harsh judgment of self, you know, and and leads to closing down, and eventually, you know, if, in some cases it can actually make you sick. In other cases it just create a lot of, like, you know, incredible anxiety, whatever it is. But you really need to ask yourself, have you been trying to compete, you know, to get the approval from people in your family, or by simply pushing yourself too hard? If so, you really need to soften and start listening to your body and focus on keeping your heart open, you know, and really practice acknowledging and recognizing the good in yourself more than anything, and that you matter, and that your voice matters, right? You need to reclaim your personal power here. Yeah, and you need to get in touch with wherever you feel like you've been giving up your personal power. You really need to look at that. Now, in the past, we have the King of Coins energy, and we have the Six of Swords energy. We have the Page of Cups, rather, in reverse. And we have the Seven of Wands energy in reverse. So I do feel like you ended up in a space where you were feeling like you always needed to, for one reason or another, you always needed to defend yourself, right? But we have the King of Coins initially going into that energy. The King of Coins, this, because it's a relationship read, I do want to say this can mean Pentacles. So this can mean you're with somebody who had money. This can mean you have money, right? It's a court card. Court cards would be king, queen, page, knight, princess, depending on the deck that we're in. All the court cards can be read as you, another person, or as a general energetic influence. So if this is you focused on money. If this is somebody else, this could be somebody else having money, being focused on money. Or this could be just the general influence of feeling abundant in something, okay? Pentacles also mean, though, coins also mean, in relationship read specifically, mental, physical, and emotional connection. So it could have nothing to do with money, and just more about the way you guys connect and communicate. I like the Pentacle energy. You have to understand how big it is. Mental, physical, and emotional connection. Are they there for you? Do they have your back? What's your communication like? What's your intimate life like? What do you guys do on a Monday through Sunday kind of thing, right? And what I'm getting here with the King is that you were very connected. There was a time in the past where you felt super connected to this person, okay? But then something happened, because Six of Swords is always about toxicity. So this could be somebody being really on point with money, you being on point with money, or everything being on point with mental, physical, and emotional connection, but then something happened. And something happened to create this feeling of toxicity where you felt like you needed to move away from it, at least temporarily, and at least, if nothing more, than in your mind. Because, you know, some of you may not have been able to leave a situation. But there was definitely something toxic that you identified in this situation, in this relationship, that you needed to move away from. Now, I do want to say, having this next card is interesting to me. Page of Cups. Pages indicates a new cycle within a connection, and cups are a sharing of emotions. So this can indicate to me that, you know, you were really trying very hard to open up to somebody, or they were trying to open up to you, and feelings were not being shared the way that they should be, or there was this holding back. There could have been some sort of emotional manipulation here having to do with this. You know, whenever we have the cups reverse, it's like, in the upright, it's the sharing of emotion. So in the reverse, it's feeling held back. But there's this idea of a new cycle because it's a page. So something happened, because the page brings news, right? Page is always about bringing news. So something happened. Something came in via the page. Whether it was you learned a new piece of information, something came to light, or something just occurred to you, right? But there was this newness, some sort of thing occurred to you where you realize there was not a reciprocity of sharing of emotions here, where you were either feeling more committed to the situation than they were feeling more committed than you were, whatever it was, but there was not this mutual sharing of emotions here. There was just not. And I kind of feel like, because of the next card and because of the self-love, I am getting that, you know, Libra, you were giving, and you were not getting back what you were giving. Not that you were even keeping score. I'm not getting that, you know, that kind of vibe. But you just weren't getting what you need, because then we have the Seven of Wands in reverse. When we get this in reverse, this is like, I am sick and tired of defending myself. And it's like, in the upright, you've already explained what you want, need, and desire from this connection. You've already been very clear, you think, at least in your mind, That could be very subjective, right? At least in your mind. But you're in this space where it's like, I'm not defending the obvious anymore. I'm not doing it. And it's you being in this space of like, do I need to give this person instructions and directions on how to treat me fairly in this relationship, or how to be better to me in this relationship? We have Cupid's arrow. Have faith, love is coming. Surprise invitation or meeting, hesitation. Okay. So we have from there, now let's go to right now, current situation. We get the King of Cups. So we go from Cupid's arrow, then we have the King of Cups. Okay. So, right? King of Cups, Libra, and Scorpio. Come on now. I mean, you guys rule the 7th house of serious relationships. I say serious because 5th house is boyfriend, girlfriend, love affairs. But that 7th house has to do with marriage. And if not marriage, because marriage is the certificate, right? That level of commitment. And you know what I'm talking about, right? So very in there, very in that space, right? And Scorpio. Scorpio is about the ending of something and the birth of something new. There's a lot of attraction that's going on here because wherever you find Scorpio, Scorpio rules sex. Scorpio also rules deaths and changes and cycles, right? Because Pluto rules Scorpio. So I'm getting that somebody is really very much offering you their emotions that's going to create this new start, this new beginning. But then here we are with the 4 of Cups energy. Now, what I'm getting here for some of you, and I want to tell you quick before it leaves my mind, you know, what I'm getting. So for some of you, I feel like there were issues here where you left some sort of toxicity that was really troubling you within the connection. Absolutely, somebody was not sharing what they were feeling because you were feeling like you don't want to defend yourself anymore. So I feel, Libra, that you might have been back on your heels. You might have been in the space where you were sort of trying to find your sense of self-love, your sense of self-respect within all of this, right? You might have been dealing with a challenging energy, somebody with narcissistic tendencies. It definitely could have been it. But where they had this, you know, this come to Jesus moment, right? Where they're like, oh, wait a minute, you know, I want A, B, and C with you, whatever. And I see what I've been doing and all of that stuff. That's going to resonate with some of you. Others of you, you made a decision to leave. And this King of Cups is somebody new. But either way, I do get you guys are in this 4 of Cups energy. Now, the reason I wanted to explain all that before getting into the 4 of Cups is because it's going to resonate with you guys a little differently depending on your current situation. So the 4 of Cups is always this sense of restlessness, disillusionment, disappointment, sometimes boredom. If you've been with somebody for a long time, this could be a serious sense of boredom. And you'll resonate with that if that's your message. Now, for most people, though, when they get the 4 of Cups energy, it is, I always call it, those of you who've been watching me know, I call it the checklist card, right? So it's identifying things that this person is doing that you cannot stand, that really rubs you the wrong way, or that you don't find respectful, okay with you, whatever it is. But the thing is here, you really need to look at it a little deeper because what's happening in this energy is whatever they're doing is really poking at unhealed wounds within you that you've been carrying from either old past connections or from your childhood. So whatever it is. So the example I like to give with this is the idea of communication. Let's say your partner doesn't text you like throughout the day, or the way that you would really like. Maybe they don't call you throughout the day, or they only text and they never call, whatever it is. I'm just using this as an example. And it's like you feel like they forget to remember you. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And so that might be true. They may need to step up as far as reaching out to you, but that's not the problem. The problem is, how does that make you feel? That makes you feel unvalued. That makes you feel discounted in some way. That makes you feel like you're not important enough to reach out to, that they're not thinking of you that much and all of that. Not in an unhealthy codependent way, but just like you want to know that you matter to your partner. I'm giving that as an example where them not reaching out to you may be a real issue, and for you to say, they don't communicate with me enough, like they just don't know how to communicate. The bigger problem and the more real problem there is the fact that you feel sensitive when it comes to communication, probably because of something from your past. And that's something that you just simply need to be mindful of. I hope that makes sense to you. All right, but it's in recognizing too that you may not be fully ready for a relationship that you think you are. You know, not that you don't want love, not that you don't want a partner, not that you don't want all of that, but love, real love, requires an unpeeling of oneself in front of someone else, and that could be really scary. So depending on what it is that you still need to address from your past, you may not be as ready as you think you are for open and honest love, but in the same way, you might identify somebody not being open and honest enough with you because it pokes at those wounds in you, you know? But then we have the King of Pentacles. So anyway, back to this. This is something that you just want to be mindful of. Okay, then we have the King of Pentacles. So this is a great energy, Aries and Taurus. We're a new path, fresh perspective. Taurus energy is fabulous. It's earthy. This energy usually is relatively healthy, having to do with money. But again, relationship read, it could just be mental, physical, emotional connection. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So anything that appeals to the senses, the five senses. So this is you guys enjoying good food together, good wine, good music, something beautiful, a museum. I don't know if museums are even open yet anywhere, but just anything that's beautiful, you know, great movies, just feeling really good, right? Anything that's sensual, right? Really good sex, anything like that. Anything like that is the King of Pentacle energy. So again, I love Pentacle energy because it's big. So it's money, but it's mental, physical, emotional connection as well. And again, because it's a king, this could be you, this could be them, this could be the general influence, right, of this energy that you guys are together here. And then we have the Five of Swords energy. So look, Five of Swords, necessary conversation has to go down here. Venus in Aquarius. All right. Venus being the relationship. Let's just say that. Also, how you feeling in the relationship? How you feeling in this connection, Libra? Like, seriously, how you doing in it? Because it's, again, Venus is in Aquarius. And when a planet is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, Uranus is about the future, but it's also about looking at this relationship and realizing that something needs to happen differently in order for it to move forward. Because if you can't have it done differently, you're not going to move forward in it. You're just not going to. Now, I want to say, 5 is conflict. It is. Swords are truth. I see it this way, you see it that way. This is my truth. No, this is my truth. This is, you know, and it's about there's a perception issue going on here, right? Where there's this, I'm going to say, necessary discussion. But you have to be careful here, the sunglass energy, because what can happen here is gaslighting and focusing out and not focusing on the problem at hand, but looking at everything from the past, projecting that into the future, all of this kind of energy. And you want to be careful of this. And some of you may have had this experience already. Again, the energies do not understand 1 week from the next. They don't. It's not like astrology in that way. But the gaslighting situation, you know, look, sometimes we gaslight, even when we don't mean to. It's the reality of the human condition. You could try to claim that you never do. Okay, good luck with that. But it's not unusual if you find yourself in the space of doing it. Certainly not unusual. If there's gaslighting going on all the time, that is an issue. If it happens every now and then, and what is gaslighting? It's the, I'm not the only one who thinks like this about you. Everybody does kind of thing. Or, I think there's something wrong with you that you think like that. Or, I never said that. I think there's something wrong with you. Or, you're imagining things. You know, are you okay? I think there might be something going on with you. I think maybe you need to go see someone. That kind of energy. You know what I'm talking about? That's horrible. It's horrible. It's horrible to do to people. It's horrible to have done to us. But I am mentioning that. Yes, it showed up here because I do feel, and then we have Mars. So Mars is, though, this necessary conversation that's going to be happening in order to bring you, Libra, onto a new path. Now, either they're going to be in this space with you or they're not going to be in this space with you. But I do feel like, because we have the King of Cups and we have the King of Pentacles here, so we have somebody, either you or your partner or just the general energy, where there is this connection, there is this strong love, there is this strong feelings of connection, but it's like this element of something missing. Either you feel discounted, there's something that feels off to you, and we have to have this conversation about what goes on, but they may not be in agreement with your perception of things. This is going to be an energy that you're going to need to deal with. Now, in the near future, we're starting off with the Knight of Swords energy. So the Knight of Swords is a Taurus and Gemini. Okay? So Gemini is where the sword comes in. That's Mercury energy. It's all about truth. And Taurus is really practical. Really practical. So I really like this energy because it's sticking with the earthly truth, reality, 3D. What do we have to deal with that's based in reality? Not in like the Fugazi, what do we hope for? That lack of clarity, that crazy maybe space. Seriously sticking with the reality of a situation is what I see happening here. And we have the Hermit energy. And the reason I was saying like the energy before is because the Hermit energy and the High Priestess energy, these are two very introspective cards. Very introspective. Now, when it comes to relationship, the Hermit energy means crawling into that mental space to do what's necessary to really better understand the situation. It's a Virgo energy. Now, this very often comes up in relationship reads to indicate you working privately on a relationship in a way that nobody is aware of. So this can even be like, let's say, for example, you and someone broke up and you reconnecting with that person, but really not telling anybody about it yet. Okay? Because you don't want to tell your friends, your family, because everybody's going to have a thing to say. Everybody has something to say. Everybody, right, has an opinion. So it could be that for some of you. For others of you, the Hermit can indicate moving on a path alone, where you're recognizing and you're finally accepting that something is just not working out the way you need it to. Really not. But then we have the King of Cups. This is why I say this is a very interesting read to me, because the King of Cups is a Libra and Scorpio energy. So it's you and Scorpio. First of all, there's a lot of attraction here. This typically does indicate somebody new coming in, as we have the Scorpio energy and ending with a simultaneous new beginning. So I do feel like there is this new energy coming in here. Then we have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a moon energy. All right? It's you getting in touch with your intuition and what you really want, need, and desire, very specifically. But it's moon energy. And the moon is what you think and feel, not what you think, what you feel in private, emotionally. What are you feeling deep inside of you? And then we have the Separation card. Sadness, missing you, unsure of the future. Only time will tell. So I do feel like, if I'm going to take a very holistic approach to this bottom energy here, I feel like there was discord here for sure. There was some gaslighting, there was some aggression, we got Mars in there, we got truth, no, this is the truth, this is this way, no, that's that way, but we have all of these emotions, oh my goodness, and it just being all kinds of crazy, right? But then we have the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords, again, it's about getting down to the nuts and bolts of the reality of the situation. All right, let's just forget whatever happened, right? Let's just sit here right in today, on whatever day of the week it is, and let's just talk about what we're dealing with today. And the truth of how you feel, how I feel, and all of that. Now, for some of you, it's going to be working on the relationship sort of in private. Okay? In private. Because you miss them. But only time is going to tell if you're going to be able to work through any of these energies here, right? So for some of you, that's what it's going to be. The High Priestess and the Hermit, it's, I really love this person. This is my King of Cups. I'm their King of Cups. I really love them. I'm feeling really sad about them, but only time will tell. We got to see what's up. For others of you, this is you going on your own rightful path, meeting a new energy. Really getting in touch with being very deep in your feelings, but feeling one way, maybe being a different way in the outside because you still have the sadness and they're missing, but you still giving this person an opportunity. So some of you may be coming across a new energy, but that does not erase the emotions that you felt for this person. Do you know what I mean? Just because you meet somebody new, it doesn't mean that that all of your feelings and emotions for this other person just goes away. It doesn't work like that. We're not robots, right? It doesn't work like that. So only time will tell. So let's see what the dice want us to do. Get the 11th house, the moon. Oh, Maron. Another moon, I feel. And we got Taurus, another Taurus energy. Yeah. So the moon is all about what is your gut telling you. That's what this is, right? And here, the 11th house here is you're really being asked to cultivate some healthy emotional detachment about something that's been muddied by sentimentality. And you don't want to get caught up in the idea of how something should have played out. You need to be willing to try something new. This is the advice here. And this indicates an opportunity for a total 180, right, in relationships. So don't be afraid to take this chance. So there's huge change going on here. Absolutely. Right? And we have Taurus energy. You know, Taurus is a beautiful energy. It's time to get back to the basics of love and self-worth. You got to do what feels good to you. If this relationship doesn't feel good to you anymore, it's not going to work no matter how many times you keep trying to give it a go. So I particularly like this for those of you who got into a space where the argument was just so much that even though you love this person, you realize that they're not able to give you what you want, and you're able to get into the space of getting really connected with yourself and get into what really matters. I feel like once you get in there, you're going to be meeting this new energy, even though you're still going to be needing to reason out this old energy. I do feel like it's time for you to take a chance and do something different in relationship. So allowing this new energy to really sort of, do I want to say take care of you? Does that sound controlling or trite? But I kind of feeling called to say that. But take care of you in a way of self-value, of self-worth, because I feel like I am feeling very strong that there's this new energy coming in. I feel like you're torn between two energies, Libra. If you're resonating with this, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Because we have a King of Cups energy here and a King of Cups energy here. But then we have the disappointment, the disillusionment. We have the King of Pentacles and we have the Five of Swords. So I'm wondering if this Five of Swords is not with this older energy and this is not the newer energy just trying to break free. And you're in such a deep state of confliction, you're really not 100% sure what to do. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting both of those messages equally so. Everything I said about you guys trying to work it out, getting into the state of conflict, and then, you know, you guys breaking up, and then you quietly trying to figure things out. I'm also getting that this other energy is trying to break into here, that you are trying to reason out how you feel about this other person that you were with, and it really is all centered on who makes you feel good, because you don't want to be involved in anything that doesn't make you feel good anymore. You're done with that. You're done with that. You're just so sick of it. Yeah. That is what I have for you. Those two different but very clear messages. So I hope this was helpful to two groups of you out there. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.